Morning, morning.
Oh, we can.
Have we all had some coffee and recovered from last night? We should know better, really, shouldn't we? I guess the people that haven't are not here at this point. Just to reintroduce myself, my name is Paul Tunnah. I'm an independent consultant. I had the pleasure of moderating a session yesterday on AI and insights. And really looking forward to this session because my career has focused around content in different guises all the way through. And we're seeing a real revolution with AI and technology at the moment. Also good to see a little bit more diversity on the panel today. So a warm welcome to all of my panelists. And I'll let each of them introduce themselves during the first question. So we're going to dive straight in. Before we get into use cases, let's talk about strategy, because I'm really interested about how AI in the content space is influencing your company strategy. Ewelina, do you want to pick up on this first?
Hey, very nice to be here. My name is Ewelina Knigawka, and I'm heading the content and agency excellence team at Novartis. And I would say, in terms of diversity, I'm very happy that this is a very feminine panel. That's a good part of it. Before we start talking about the strategy, maybe let's start with what is the most important for pharma. And based on my experience, we really love data. We really love science. So AI, when it started, it was something super amazing for all of us, just to have this ChatGPT and Copilot to summarize our meeting notes. That was absolutely super helpful. So everything that can help us to embrace the data, that can help us to simplify all those processes are very much welcome. However, I don't think we are at the moment to talk about the strategy yet. I think it's right now the phase when we are testing and learning. We are piloting different solutions across the organization. And only after that, we can start forging the real strategy. And if you are wondering that you are the only one not yet having the full strategy for the company, don't worry. I think we are all in a similar place. So for Novartis, I would say we are piloting right now in many different areas and departments, but we are yet to start thinking about how to create a seamless end-to-end journey that is using the AI to help us to solve our problems, drive our processes, and engage with the data.
So we're still very much in that test and learn stage before we start to shift strategy. Vanitha, what's your perspective on that?
Hi everyone, I'm Vanitha. I'm working with Novo Nordisk, and I'm in the cardiovascular and emerging therapy areas franchise now, heading the customer engagement team. So you asked about strategy, Paul. It's a very important question because sitting in a commercial team, there is a fundamental need in which we need to evolve our customer and also medical strategy to cater to the evolving go-to-market models and the business models. So when we are into that zone, the way we are looking at AI is that it's a red thread and it's a strategic enabler for us that connects the business needs to the business outcomes. So we are carefully evaluating rather than just going like, treating AI as a new shiny object. We are really evaluating where is it that we can create high impact from an AI perspective as a red thread. So we were very careful in that sense. And we are probably not really trying to test and learn, especially in the commercial space. We want to be more targeted.
So starting with where is the problem that this can potentially, which
yeah.
We've heard a lot through this conference, it's so important. Almudena, I'll come on to you. We've had so many conversations about content, but in the context of AI, how are you seeing that shift your work?
Yeah, so hi everyone, my name is Almudena, I'm in Lundbeck, and I'm leading the team responsible for content and campaigns. And before we talk about strategy, I would like to talk a bit about context and what we are facing in marketing operations, because I was capturing some of the words that have been said today, in these last 2 days about content needs, right? And some words where it needs to be personalized, relevant, authentic, specified, humanized, balanced, and in the right context. If we multiply these for the number of brands that we have, for the number of the ATPs that we have, and for the number of markets that we need to serve, how many assets do we need to create for launching those campaigns, right? So I think that the answer comes by itself, because then also we are having us to be fast, right? We need to do this in an agile way and cheap, because we need to save money. So AI, I'm a big believer that is going to facilitate so much our journey in achieving all these items that I was asking. So.
Yeah, and we've heard the need for personalization across a number of sessions. It feels like we can't meet that need through the old models. So Nataliya, I'm going to switch tack a little bit with you and move away from strategy, because I want to get practical and talk about use cases. How are we starting to use AI in content deployment, creation? Somebody told me you have a few use cases and a bit of experience here, so I'd love to hear your thoughts about this.
Thank you very much. My name is Nataliya Andreychuk. I'm CEO and one of the founders of Viseven companies. Our main focus is omnichannel end-to-end engagement. We are also producing content at scale as a content factory. Wizard is our content experience platform. So you see this content, and omnichannel. So we are very, in the epicenter of the influence of AI, because whenever this topic appears, first of all, we decided, like Vanitha says, to apply it to most painful zones. Like we have the huge delays on approval process. Like our clients are all the time, like we are creating content as the agency, as the DCF, they are complaining like 2 months, 3 months, they are delayed because of the approval process. So we have created this MLR pre-approval engine, which is a part of our eWizard solution. This was the step one, because with AI, of course with the data foundation, guys from Novo Nordisk have done a great job to lead us to this session actually, because with this data foundation, we were able to create the engine which is recognizing the content, which is uploading automatically, which is checking against different rules, and which is constantly learning. So why it needs to be done in that way? Because approval process, despite all the standards, it has their peculiarity from company to company. So, and within AI, we are actually able to learn all this data about how different people are working in this approval environment and how we can get this pre-approval engine running. Actually, please don't take me wrong, it is not a substitution of human being, but it really a shift, because it does cut the work process like at least at half. Another thing which is tagging, auto-tagging and taxonomy harmonization is the second project we have tackled with AI. So we have created central tagging solution. We have done a little bit different, because we have bounded this solution into our offering tool. So this is concretely like, this can work with different data sources, so with Viva and the others. So like a usual situation in the companies, there could be multiple data sources for the content. So our central tagging solution works with different data sources, creating this foundation and tagging automatically, and then making sure that it's properly managed across all these data sources. So this is how our central tagging solution works. It's a part actually of a Wizard package. So we have done the next step. We democratized AI. So what we have done, we have packed all AI features. It doesn't matter how cool they are, and we are delivering them in the very same package to all our customers. What our customers need to do, just to give like switch on these things. This is the use case I have. First, like tackle the problem. Second, democratize this to everyone. So like it is a part of the solution you already have, and you can just pilot it within the environment you have. So this is what we do.
So content approval, content tagging, understanding the process.
Generating of the messages, generating of the images, generating of the slides. So all of this is a part of these, AI initiatives inside our content.
Very broad application.
Yes.
Let me come to those of you sitting within Pharma. I know it can be a little bit harder to talk about what you're doing, but as much as you can, where are you already seeing application for AI in the content space? I'm going to go back down the line. Almudena?
Okay, so in the territory of marketing operations, what I'm looking now is how can I drive everything that I was saying before in a very fast way. So how can I create copies faster? How these copies can be approved faster? What is the role of MLR, global, local, transcreations, translations? I think that's going to be a game changer, and it's going to change the processes, right? So, I mean, we should not be fear about AI. It's more like we should be prepared for all those processes are going to be changed.
So thinking about that global to local engagement, because I think we sometimes forget when we sit in global roles that we look at it at that level, but you've got X number of countries, different languages, different content requirements. Again, massive, massive content needs.
Exactly.
Vanitha?
So I would categorize AI use cases into two major themes, Gen AI applications or use cases and predictive AI. From a Gen AI standpoint, I think both Nataliya and Almu covered a lot, but on top of it, one of my, what is itching in my mind as a next use case is about claims and key message, the use of AI on that, because if anybody who's worked in commercial will know how important market research is. A lot of projects are market research projects, which is great, including the whole, and today, the way we generate key messages and test the hypothesis on what works and what doesn't work is with a very small sample size, and it's one size fits all. So the way I am trying to nudge our marketers' mindset is, hey, can we create a key message house by your customer segments or your priority customers rather than going for the one-size-fits-all key message. But in order to do that, you need to have 3x budget for your market research, which is actually a little tough. So if you can use AI application to generate a key message house already and then use your budget to actually predict what works and what doesn't, that would be a brilliant use case. And the same thing I would like to apply for claims. Because the core of every content is the claims and the references that come with it. So I really want to go back into the value chain of the commercial value chain and see where we can apply AI. And of course, all the use cases that you said, everybody is trying to explore that, no doubt. And from a predictive AI space, there are two major themes that is coming up because I'm also sitting in commercial excellence. There's a lot of emphasis on digital health. We are moving as an organization more towards precision medicine and prophylactic care versus the traditional care system. So really want to create AI solutions for clinical decision support so that we can enable and empower our healthcare ecosystem and the stakeholders in that to profile and screen high-risk patients. It helps them in the clinical decision support. But from an omnichannel customer engagement standpoint, we are already exploring this predictive AI on, of course, next best content, next best action is one thing, but also how can you manage supply and demand, like quota management based on sales targets, so that you can balance it, because we are also facing a supply issue in our organization, so we are using AI for that. And we are also, of course, using AI for sales rep to get intelligence on what the marketing teams have already engaged with our customers. So using that intelligence, we actually go and have targeted conversations with our physicians. And so these are the areas where we are being very focused on.
So I think it's fair to say you're already doing quite a lot with AI in the content space.
Yes.
But I love the point about key messages and claims, because as we all know, if you don't get that piece right, you can then produce all this content, but it's not meaningful, it's not going to be impactful. So kind of get the base, get the foundations of the house right, and the rest will follow. Ewelina, what about in your experience? Where are you seeing practical application?
So the ones that already know me, I guess, from the previous session in Dubrovnik last year, know that I'm driving since a couple of years global to local model, and that's my third company when I'm doing this. And people who also have a similar role know how challenging that is. So regarding the use cases, I would say I agree with all of them, right? I would add on top a couple. It's basically all connected with how we can use it both on medical and commercial sides to make our life simpler, and how we can deliver the value to the customers faster. The current challenge I see is that end-to-end process for content creation until the moment when the actual asset is deployed in the market and used by our representative is extremely long. And I'm not talking about a month or two, I'm talking about 9 months' time. That's the reality. And if anyone says, no, we do it in 1 month, it's not saying the truth. The reality is that every market is different. So what we need to do to be even able to use those use cases, we need to fix the basics. And that is probably the biggest problem we face in pharma. When we talk about MLR approval, yes, it's not a rocket science how to build it. The rocket science is to align with the markets because every market is different. Canada will be very much different than Brazil, very much different than UK. And this is where the problem starts, the data. We need to have the data from all of those markets to be even able to set up such solution. And of course, on top of that, you have a lot of very practical use cases for AI. So I don't even see the world in which in the future we would be forced to do expensive photo shoots in Brazil or, I don't know, in Argentina with our AORs. Because currently AI is absolutely capable to create a campaign concept or to create multiple campaign concepts that then we can faster test with our markets. So those are absolutely a very practical solutions that do not require us to first fix the data. And I think for us right now, it's the most important to focus on those that can be easily delivered, while meantime we try to exactly fix the basics I just mentioned.
Yeah, and I've seen some really nice examples of virtual KOLs that are filmed with the KOL's permission, but they don't need to be in the room, you don't need the expensive photo shoots. But again, I think what you're referencing there is this ability to personalize, but also move more quickly with content. 9 months is a long, long time. I was going to ask about where you're seeing barriers. I just want to glance at the audience and see if there's any burning questions from the audience before we get to that. Just stick your hand up if there's any burning questions for our panel. Or is everybody thinking about that? Oh, we have a question down here. Do we have a mic? Can we get a mic to you?
I'm curious to know whether Ewelina has encountered any burning challenges, right? In applying basically content generated by AI for localization. Opportunities we know, and any big challenge you found?
So just to repeat the question so people can hear, any sort of big challenges around content being produced by AI, particularly in the context of localization? Yeah?
Yes, exactly.
Honestly, that's a huge challenge, one big challenge, I would say. We are working currently on different solutions, how to fix it. But again, AI can come into play when we have also the right other technology in place. To give you the example, if you don't have a design system in your organization, then most of your agencies are delivering the content in a different way, with a different format, with the different quality. So that's when the first problem starts. So like someone said during the last session, in, out, right? So when you're able to fix that piece, you are actually able to start creating very tailored templates that will correspond with the market needs. And then, if you have the right library of the requirements per market, which can be not only legal and regulatory, but also simple things like, did you know that in Australia, for example, you cannot put an HCP with the white code on the picture because they are not using them anymore, right? So you need to be aware of those things. So then you can feed the system to help you during the localization to spot those differences and give you the recommendation how the engine should redo the content or propose the changes or even upload automatically the right picture to the original asset that will help you to speed up the process. It's very cumbersome because you really need to have a lot of data that you manually collected from the markets because again, it's not like we can have one for pharma. Of course, there will be some similarities that come from the code, but at the end of the day, we are different at Novartis than Roche is, for example. We have different SOPs in place, so we also need to take that into consideration.
Nataliya?
I want to add here, like templating of the content is the must. So we have been talking about that like for last 3 years, and this is exactly where we have started. Like anyone here working with us can say, like, with first thing we are doing once we are writing, we make sure we have template for every asset which will be produced, like at the global level, and then we localize this template for the countries. Change management must be introduced across every step we are taking. And there is a very important point which we haven't mentioned before. This is CDP, Customer Data Platform. So we have been talking about like new approaches, AI and everything, and no one has mentioned like CDP like is becoming extremely important for this data gathering which we are missing, so that we are not doing everything manually. So that's why while we are talking about content, where we are today, we are looking at CDP with the content affinity, so which can give us this data about content like at the better shape, and this will be very helpful. And across localization topic is a huge one, and translation is a part of them. So a part of we have integrated couple of translating tools. We are still very much empowered by Transperfect and the manual translation of the human beings, because like as we are now talking, this is not really enough for today. I think this algorithm will be learning in the future, but right now we still have to have the both, the human and the AI.
Yeah.
So this is not enough, I do agree.
And I think maybe just to pick up on one point Nataliya made there about this global to local. I mean, I've said this before, we as an industry, we invest so much time and money in understanding HCPs, reams of research so we can deliver what we think they want. We don't tend to invest so much time and money on the local countries applying that same process internally. Yes. And I think it's really, really critical before you start churning out all of this content. Great question, thank you. We are into the last 3 minutes of our panel, which has flown by, and I don't want to finish talking about the challenges. I want to finish talking about the opportunity. So I'd love to hear each of you kind of sum up what you think you're most excited about as we look over the next 4 or 5 years and where AI in the content space is going to take us. And you've probably got about 45 seconds or so each. Ewelina, do you want to go first on this?
For me, 2 things. I will be very sharp. One is to simplify the end-to-end process to make it faster. The other one is purely personalization. Creating 2 templates for RT is not personalization. I'm talking about 77 versions of the content that we can choose and send to the customer. Period.
Very snappy. Very makes a lot of sense. Vanitha?
I really like Nataliya brought up the CDP thing, because I think that's definitely going to up the game in terms of how we use AI plus CDP to actually personalize, because the CDP has a unique property, right? It actually analyzes the behavior patterns and everything. So augmenting that analysis of a CDP through AI is going to be a better use case for personalization.
And just remind people what CDP is if people are not familiar.
Customer data platform, right?
Thank you.
And I think, I know we agreed we'll probably not talk a lot about modular content, but actually one of the best use cases of modular content is through CDP to create dynamic content segmentation and targeting. We are exploring that heavily within Novo.
And modular content could be a whole separate topic, but in the last minute and a half...
It's a forbidden topic for this panel,
For now,
right?
it's forbidden.
We're not going to try and cover it in a minute and a half. We can't talk about modular content, it's banned.
Yeah.
Almudena, what are you most excited about?
I'm super excited about making efficiencies. I mean, if we see how much part of our marketing budgets go to content generation and then how that content is used across the globe, I think that we have a big opportunity here to drive efficiencies and maybe put the efforts somewhere else in making difference for patients and ACPs in something more relevant for them.
Yeah, and again, a common theme we've seen at this event of if we can save time using AI, where can we invest that time to do good stuff? Nataliya, I'm going to give you the last word on this.
Yes, thank you very much. So maybe I will be the most futuristic one. So what I'm thinking about the future. So this is actually the evolution. You remember our co-creation sessions like decade ago, like takes us 2 months to co-create a concept and then smoothly but slowly and steadily go forward. Then modular content, forbidden, absolutely topic, drive us a little bit faster. Reuse, repurpose, doing all this kind of stuff. And now with the AI, so we absolutely need target to have deployed content by click. So we definitely need to make it as a goal, and then we all will be collectively going to that goal with this automated tagging, with this CDP thing, with the data, with localization automation, with templatizations. So we will be definitely going to this goal. And first, doing content by the click will bring us to bringing campaign by a click, because right now we do have templates for many campaigns. So we are templatizing the best experiences. So we definitely need to go to that highness of the automation.
Fantastic. And as always, we've barely scratched the surface of this topic in the 25 minutes. We've covered a lot of ground, but we've barely scratched the surface. So do come and speak to my panelists. I think they're all sticking around for lunch for the rest of the day. I'm sure they're happy to share a little bit more, but a big thank you to my panel and to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.